How far can a person who is not afraid of war or battles go? And what if this person is one of the most powerful figures in Noxus? Ambessa Medarda knows the value of strength on the battlefield, but what lies behind her impenetrable armor, and what is she willing to put on the line for her ambitions? Let's find out right now. Ambessa was born into one of the most powerful families in Noxus, the Medarda family. Many generations ago, when her ancestors were still traders on the Shuriman coast, their family had a code that called for embodying the cunning of a desert fox and the strength of a fearsome wolf. So it was no surprise that Ambessa decided to become a soldier, keeping in mind the lessons from her childhood. As a child, Ambessa learned what cruelty was by watching gladiators fight in their arena. Although the girl was too young to fight herself, she studied every battle and memorized every move. One day after the Battle of Hildenard, when Ambessa was only 10 years old, her father told her to collect the weapons of the dead soldiers. Following his order, little Ambessa never flinched, despite the blood and bodies around her. By the end of the day, she realized that death was something to be respected, not feared. There was nobility in sacrifice, and without sacrifice, there was no greatness. Ambessa was the proud daughter of the Medardas, a born warrior who commanded several fighting units, and the favorite of her grandfather Menelik, the family patriarch. She was also a woman, a lover, and a mother. Her first child was a boy whom she named Kino. She had high hopes for him, but unfortunately the boy failed to live up to them. Although Ambessa sincerely loved her son, it was obvious that he would never grow up to be a true warrior. Shortly afterward, she herself almost died in battle, defending the Rockram Plain, her ancestral homeland. These events are reflected in the cinematic. We see Ambessa on the verge of death. Suddenly, she sees a wolf in front of her, which is a reference to kindred. Separated, but never apart, kindred represents the two essences of death. The lamb's bow offers a quick release from the mortal realm to those who accept their fate. The wolf hunts down those who run from their end, bringing a brutal demise with its gaping jaws. Although interpretations of kindred's nature go different ways all across Runeterra, every mortal must choose the true face of their death. In Ambessa's case, it was the wolf that she faced. This is likely due to her family drawing parallels between their actions, beliefs, and the strength of a formidable wolf. Feeling a thirst for life, Death decided to test Ambessa by immersing her in the spirit realm to see if she deserved to be saved and what she was willing to give up for the sake of her life. The first vision shows her origins long before she was born. She sees herself in the Shuriman Desert, where her ancestors were traders before the Medarda family became influential in Noxus. Ambessa is holding a lamb, symbolizing the calm, peaceful life of her ancestors. The next vision takes Ambessa much further in time and shows her future. In front of her is a throne on which she sits, only about 20 years older. But to reach this future, Ambessa must first defeat death. We see this in the following scene. You might think, of course, that this is Pantheon. Well, on one hand, you're right. In addition to being a teaser for the release of the Ambessa Champion, the cinematic is also a statement of a new line of skins, which includes the Pantheon skin. In the context of Ambessa's story, this alleged Pantheon is simply a symbolic representation of death. In addition to the battle with death, we see footage from Ambessa's current life. This scene is a battle between the Noxian families for supremacy over all others, in which Ambessa Medarda is also involved. Some shots take us back to the past. Here, Ambessa decides to let go of the lamb, symbolizing her abandonment of the peaceful life her ancestors led. As a result, she chooses the path of struggle, aggression, and ruthlessness. But this was not enough. To gain the desired supremacy over everyone, she had to destroy a weaker version of herself, morally speaking. We see the lamb being killed, itself portraying Ambessa's weak personality. Only after such radical actions was she able to defeat death. We see Ambessa regain consciousness, and at that moment, she is already carrying her daughter Mel under her heart. After the ordeal of visions on the verge of dying, Ambessa only strengthened her determination and ambition. She set out to subjugate the whole world to her will so that enemies would not turn the weakness of her children against her. From that moment on, Ambessa began her rapid ascent. In every battle, she fought on the front lines, fearlessly facing death. With each victory, she became more agile, bolder, and more unwavering. When the old Menelik Medarda died, he did not have time to name an heir, and several branches of the family claimed the right to rule over the clan. But Ambessa knew that their attempts to seize power would doom because it was her destiny. She dealt with her rivals and vowed to create a legacy worthy of the Medarda clan, worthy of her children. As the new matriarch of the family, Ambessa began to repeat her personal mantra more and more often. It said, "In all things, be the wolf." She forbade her loved ones to show weakness or disagreement, lest their indecision be passed on to her, and even sent her own daughter Mel to the distant city of Piltover. Many years later, Mbessa heard rumors of an impressive new invention called Hextech, and it was created, ironically, by the weak-willed Piltover idealists. Intrigued by the potential power of the new technology, Mbessa traveled to the Gilded City to visit her daughter and learn how Hextech could be useful to benefit the Medarda family. The previous event before Mbessa's appearance in Piltover was the death of her son Kino. He was killed by a powerful man whom Kino had offended. Mbessa realized that this man still held a grudge and would strike again, possibly having enough resources to overcome the Medarda family. All of these events are probably connected to the Black Rose, an ancient cabal in Noxus led by the notorious LeBlanc. I think we will learn more about this in the second season of the series. To help her family win a potential war, Mbessa visited Piltover in the hope of obtaining military Hextech. After hearing news of the ongoing conflict between Piltover and Zaun, she tried to convince both her daughter Mel and Jace to finally start a war with the underground city and use Hextech weapons to do so. Mel strongly refused and convinced the council to avoid any actions that would incite war, but Jace was quite inclined to attack one of Silco's Shimmer factories. However, when Jace accidentally killed a boy, he completely changed his mind. Mel aggressively confronted her mother for manipulating Jace, to which Mbessa finally told Mel about the impending conflict with Kino's killer in Noxus. She then asked Mel to allow the war to happen, after which Mel would become a welcome guest in and around her home. Mel ultimately rejected her mother's offer, removing her family ring as she agreed to Jace's proposal for peace with Zaun, granting them the independence they requested. But what happens next? We will find out about the continuation of the story of Mbessa, her daughter, and of course, the fate of Piltover and Zaun in the second season of the Arcane series. I will definitely tell you about this and much more next time. My dear friend, thank you for listening to this incredible story. If you liked it, be sure to leave a tip in the form of likes. Subscribe my channel to become a regular visitor to my tavern. In the meantime, I'm saying goodbye to you. See you soon for a drink of incredible and unforgettable stories from the world of League of Legends.